Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it took me a long time to have that self-awareness and also to be able to talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
like, not to go too deep into my past, but I'm going a little deep. But like,
All right.
Darn, that's what she
darn.
said.
Alex is.
see, I can't have a normal conversation.
Hey,
This
Alex
is
got.
why we can't have
Alex
good
got a
things.
deep past.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like, I don't know. Like growing up, I lived way outside of town. Like for y'all to know, I grew up
He's
in
a
Gardnerville.
small town kid.
Shout out small towns. Terrible.
Garnerville.
Yeah.
Is that like past Carson?
The fact that you don't know where it is tells me everything I need to know about
Okay.
Gardnerville, even if I didn't know where it was. But no, it is past Carson.
Yeah, you're kind of proving his
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I not only is Gardnerville a small town as it is, I was removed so far out of town, it took me 25 minutes to get into town. Add another level to that, I grew up in a trailer park with not a whole lot of other kids. And there wasn't even really a whole lot of other people. It was on native land, but like you could, you could rent that little space of land.
Mm-hmm.
And so growing up, like I had siblings that never really stayed in my life too long. So I never really had like that full connection very well. So, I mean, the best connection I had was with my parents or with my family. I didn't have like a whole, like the fam that we have now, our group of friends, I didn't have that like almost ever. So like a lot of what I was feeling, I kept to myself. I went through so much stuff in high school that like I couldn't really talk to anybody about. I couldn't really talk to my parents because it's probably a lot of stuff that I didn't want to tell my parents because I was, I was acting a fool. I was being a mess. But on top of that, like it was just a lot of stuff that I just didn't know how to process within myself either. So I just didn't. And shout out to, men's health and having that idea that men don't really talk about anything because we don't. It takes us a long road to get to the point where we feel like we can talk about things. And it's dangerous, man. Like I've lost so many people in my life just not being able to think that they're heard. And I think that's scary.
That's true. The sad reality is like as men, we are sort of not allowed to take time to feel bad for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The world teaches us that, hey, no one really cares. Pack your shit, get up and go do something about it.
Like stop crying.
Yeah.
Like the
Toughen
default
up.
was like, oh,
Rub the dirt in it.
Toughen up. You know what I mean? And then get to work. You know what I mean? So.
And I think on top of that, just to add to that, I think for me, what I've always done since a young age, because I think as many siblings as I had, I've always been the one that kind of takes care of my family. That's just how I've always been, just especially because I understand how important it is. I don't think a lot of people do. So on top of that is we take accountability for almost more than what we should.
Right.
I mean,
especially me.
Shout out to Alex though. He's that type of friend that is actually gonna help you out in like difficult times.
Thank you.
In a way that's
that's
there's
true.
not a lot of people that are like, I'm not like that. Like I'm a good friend.
Jared's like, yo, I love you, but
I bring something else to the table. So like I'm not the friend that's just gonna. I mean, I would if you ask me,
Right.
but like I'm not the
intuitively you're not gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
Alex.
So yeah. Shout out to you, Al.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're giving flowers here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's just it's weird to see how that can impact the way that you run your life. Like going through all of that in high school, I like, having like almost that weight of the world, like, and it's already a hard time because you're a kid, you just turned 18, you don't know what you're gonna do. Like my parents moved up to Reno right after, so I was like, okay, well, me being 18, I have no idea what I'm doing in my life. Like, I guess I'm moving up to Reno because I knew I wanted to go to school. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to school somewhere, I might as well do Reno. I grew up with, I'm not gonna say we were dirt poor, but we weren't even, we might have been like very low end of low middle class, if that. I would say upper lower class, if that's like the best way to say it. Like we're the high end of being poor. Like I had shoes to go to school. Like I had
I'll
stuff.
fuck with that.
But like growing up with that adversity, especially in a place like Gardnerville, like Gardnerville's a very rich town. So it felt like everyone there had money, So it's hard to be around that. And then like thinking about that growing up, and then like once you're an adult, you're like, oh shit, like now I have to figure out how to like.
Why were you comparing yourself to the other teens or kids?
Yeah, especially because it was like
that were driving their dad's Jaguars.
Right.
And
Yeah, like that, or like, oh man, we're going on the boat in Tahoe this weekend.
Sick.
Okay, I've never been on a boat. Like,
yeah,
it was that kind of like overlooming feeling that I think could not control, but like motivated, which is a great topic of today, motivated me to like when I started being an adult, really starting to think about things in a different light. Like I watched how bad credit can mess up a life. Like I watched how, credit problems control my parents, medical bills control my parents. Like they didn't have the freedom to do what they wanted because they were too busy worrying about shit. I need to pay this bill. Shit, I need to like fix my credit. I need to make sure I'm not behind on XYZ. And I think that was a big problem in what I saw. So when I grew up and I moved to Reno, I was like, all right, cool. What am I going to do? Let me at least try to go to school. I enrolled in school. I did terrible. I had no discipline. And I remember the pivotal turning point in my life was July 4th of 2010. July 4th. Independence Day.
That's how you know it's real when there's fucking timestamp.
Right. When I remember the time.
Wait, what's the year?
2010. Because I graduated in June.
Okay.
Moved up.
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
Yeah, tried to do summer school. It didn't work. So I remember I was going up to Tahoe for 4th of July. Don't recommend. But I remember like my friends hit me up. They're like, hey, we're all up here. And I was like, I'm not doing anything today. Let's go. So I was coming down 395 right here on the freeway over by Audi. I got into a 32 car pileup. Some lady's tire blew out, smashed into 3 other cars, and then everyone smashed into each other.
Oh, because they couldn't stop it.
Darn.
Right. And like I was good. I stopped in time, but the giant truck behind me did not.
Oh.
I stopped in time. There's a Toyota Camry right in front of me, a gold Toyota Camry. And I just remember being like, oh, okay, cool, I'm good. And then all of a sudden I look at my rearview mirror, I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was like one of those things like they tell you not to tense up an accident. I straight up grabbed everything. And it sucked because it was like, that car was like my baby. I bought it when I was 17 after working 2 jobs. Like it meant a lot to me and it destroyed. And I remember like that happened. I had no car, which is hard when I was living with my parents instead. So when you're already once again hella outside of town.
I lived that life.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do, man? Like I have no discipline. I was going out, I was partying all the time. Back in the day when Reno used to have 18 and up clubs, when we had like Cadillac Ranch.
They used to have that.
We had Cadillac Ranch, we had Rise. Yeah, like we had things that
Club Underground.
Club Underground. Oh my God, bro. To think that that's the bird now is insane.
Is that? Oh shit!
Yeah,
it is, huh?
dude.
Oh shit! I forgot that's the same.
Wild.
Place.
So yeah, man, like just going through that, and then I'm like, okay, man, I don't know what to do. And I was like, man, I always had military influences in my life. Like both my grandfathers who passed before I was born, they were both in the military. I did ROTC in high school to like kind of cram all my credits together as much as I could, and I was like, that's already gonna get me like a really good promotion when I get in. So I was like, all right, bet. I guess we're joining the military. And I took the ASVAB and they're like, dude, you can do whatever you want. Like I had such a high ASVAB score. They're like, all right, pick whatever you want. And I was like, I mean, I'll go talk to the Air Force, see what's up. Hated it. As soon as I walked out, I just felt the vibe. I was like, man, y'all don't do anything. Like y'all don't do what I want to do. Exactly. Like I was a kid, man. I wanted to go like do shit. And like the Air Force, yeah, it's cool. Like you get to travel, you get to have like really good, like intelligent jobs that give you a good career after. But I was short-sighted. I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, man, I want to go to war, bro. Like,
stuff.
Right. I was like, I wanted to
blow shit up.
Exactly. So it was crazy. Like, and then so I went over to the Army and they're like, all right, cool. You got this, this, and this. I picked a couple jobs. They kept falling through. And then finally I was like, you know what, dude, I just need to get out of here. Like, put me in the infantry. I'm done. Like, get me out of Reno. And like, I signed up for the infantry, went all the way in. Thank God there was one last dude who like right before I signed up was like, yo, man, you don't want to do that. Like the infantry literally just takes bullets. Like do something that at least will protect you a little bit. Like I get that you want the action, the event, like all that stuff. Be a tanker. You know what I'm saying? Go shoot tanks. At least you're inside of a giant metal can that can stop bullets. It's better than being outside getting shot at. And I was like, all right, bet. Let's do that. And I think that was another, like, I think about the timeline of my life. I think about that was like another big pivotal point.